All right. Hello, everybody. Jake from the Woods. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? That was a lot of how you doing, all in a row. But hello, everybody. I'm Soul Commodore here, back at you again. Today we're going to be doing some live painting once again on this piece, this giant 48 by 42 piece. And we're actually going to get 2 hours of painting in today. Yeah, so that'll be exciting. It feels like forever since we've done like a 2-hour painting stream, because the last presumably 2-hour painting stream we would have been able to do. I had to go out. No, I didn't have to go out. My phone cord wouldn't work, and that's why we couldn't stream. I was wondering what that countdown was for, Jake. Hello, Elle. Hello, everybody. Thank you for the raid. Thank you. Jake, can I get a shout out to Elle in the chat, please? How's everybody doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Elle, how did your stream go? How did your stream go? I'm sorry I missed it. But yes, Jake, thank you for the shout out. Yeah, if y'all want to see some fantastic art, some great animation work, and he plays games sometimes too. You should check out Elle's channel. You know, for those of you who didn't come in with Elle, you should definitely go check him out. Yo, Rain, we've come to bother you. Y'all don't ever bother me. Y'all try to bother me, but I am unshaken. I will not be moved. You were just in Elle's stream, and now you're here too? Oh, look at you. Double dipping. It went mostly well. We had a slight issue with someone who's not invited back, but other than that, we're good. Well, that's a shame. But that is a shame when you got to deal with that. But I'm glad it went well otherwise. Just pricked myself with a pin. Maybe stirred. Also, get wrecked, Jared. I'm guessing the person's name was Jared. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, Rain. Hey, no problem, Elle. Take your time. Yeah, if you gotta clean stuff up, if you want to take a break, if you want to get some food, take a nap, whatever you need to do, because I know that streaming can get the best of us sometimes, and we all need a little bit of break. You know, just to relax for a second. Also, yes, thank you, Jake. Shout out to Rain. I finally got to check out one of Rain's streams, and yeah, that was a lot of fun. Y'all should also check out Rain. They were having some fun with with some what was it, Apex Legends? Yeah, Apex Legends yesterday. No, that was fun. That was fun. I was glad I finally got to check it out. Also, y'all talking about coming in here bothering me. I'm about to bother you because I'm about to eat a mini ice cream sandwich because I didn't have supper yet. So today, I think we're finally going to finish this floor, and we'll probably get some light in here as well. Yeah, I think that's what our focus is going to be. And then we'll move on from there. Enjoy on my behalf. I can't have those anymore. That's right. That's right. I forgot. Well, I'm sorry. I don't think they'll make it over to the UK, Jake. I don't think they'll make it. Yo, Zell. Welcome in. Welcome in. Sorry to be talking to you with my mouth full, but yes, shadow and light. Because that's what we're going to be working on today. Is doing all the shading and stuff on the floor. Jake, see, you know what to do. I didn't have to say it. Yes, if all you lovely people want a really entertaining streamer and a really entertaining stream, and you're into gaming streams, specifically Kingdom Hearts, Has a lot of great Zelda content too. Some God of War, all sorts of stuff. Check out Zelshot. Very entertaining person. Very engaging person. He's great, and his chat is great. Very, very welcoming, entertaining crowd as well. Very funny. So yeah, you should go check out Zel. You will not be disappointed. You have a whole 2 minutes before going back to work. Well, I appreciate you choosing to spend those 2 minutes with us. Alright, so let's get our paints together. One of these days I will figure out how to get my paints together before the stream starts, so that we don't have to waste more time than we need to. But today's not one of those days. But how's everybody doing? I hope y'all are well. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to get another tube of yellow paint. Most def. Ah, come on. Come on. I know there's more paint in you. There we go. That's right, there's a hole in the side of this one. Okay, and then we got our white, which we're going to need a fair amount of that. It's work. I feel that. I feel that. And finally, some black. You know, since, just before we get started, since we're doing things here, y'all should also check out my main man, my mod with the mostest here. Jake from the Woods does a lot of great Pokemon content. If you want a fantastic Pokemon mind, like just brilliant Pokemon mind, you should check out Jake. Fantastic. He's a in real life friend to you. Yes, you. He's in real life friend of mine. Just does fantastic content. Fantastic creator. Fantastic with his viewers too. You know, really engaging, and a nice community that he's cultivated over there as well. So yeah, go give Jake a watch as well. Okay, let's grab a brush and let's get going, shall we? I know lots of things, mediocre player at best. Hey, your knowledge of Pokemon things, though, is, like I've said before, encyclopedic. And is quite impressive to a person such as myself. So, color me impressed. It was a nice community, then I crashed it and made it sweary. Best Pokemoner I know? Yeah. Alright, Zell, have a fantastic rest of your day at work. I hope it goes smoothly. And thanks for dropping in again. I really do appreciate it. It almost made us sweat. I also make us sweaty. I know you meant sweary, but still, I like that. Okay. So let's I should also probably pull up the reference image. So let's do that real quick. Don't mind me. Downloads. Bring up the reference image. There we go. Okay. sweat lords. And more sheepy. True. Sweet is my favorite person in your chat because I get to troll you back for all the squirrels. Nice. Okay, so let's get some red in this. Because this floor is going to be brighter, and I want it to be a slightly different shade than the rest of this. Jake got a squirrel today from L. Yeah. One of these days, I gotta make sure I stay up to watch one of your streams. Make a habit of like just staying in there for like 15-20 minutes just to say hello and to do some extra trolling. There we go. That's more of the color I want. Love it when people correct themselves and add the second L. Add the second Jake. Streaming 2:15 p.m. Nice. Oh, really? Nice. Excellent. Oh, that's right, because tomorrow is Friday. Tomorrow is Friday. Also, if I could share with you all some good news. Use points for sheep. Jake loves it. Oh, I bet. I smell popcorn and it's not fair. Yeah, that's not fair at all. I sometimes make popcorn at like 1 in the morning when my girlfriend's asleep, and thankfully the smell doesn't wake her up, because I'm sure she also wouldn't appreciate that. Rain. Come on now. I had purged that song from my memory. To be fair though, you know what? That's not like the worst song in history. Neither is it my least favorite song, but I haven't heard it enough to like really call it my least favorite song. Like a lot of people say it's the worst song they've ever heard. Honestly, the worst song I've ever heard is Wake Me Up Before You Go Go by Wham. I cannot stand that song. The dumbest ass song I've ever heard. I can't get with it. I can't get with it. Cannot do it. Rebecca Black did get a bunch of unwarranted hate because it was just a teenager who just made a song that she wanted to sing. I mean, whatever. There's nothing wrong with that. So glad someone agrees with me. It's so annoying. You know who I've grown to appreciate? The Bee Gees. I will agree for the most part. There are a ton of Bee Gees songs that I like. Well, I don't know if I'd say a ton. But there are a number of Bee Gees songs that I like. However, by like 1980, like their whole shtick kind of like started to wear thin. In that they didn't really grow. Like one of my favorite groups of all time, well, not all time, but one of my favorite groups to listen to is the Stylistics, right? And their lead singer, what is his name? I think it's Russell Tompkins the second or third or something like that. Anyway, has a really, really nice falsetto, right? And he only sings in falsetto. right? And the rest of the Stylistics, they were a vocal group, right? So they didn't play any instruments, they just sang, right? And their first 2 or 3 albums were really, really good because it was a breath of fresh air. But the thing is, Russell didn't grow as a singer. Like, he didn't try new things. The group didn't try new things. So around like their 3rd or 4th album, it starts being like, okay, we've heard this before, you know. And by their 5th album, 6th, like, it was pretty much like, okay, you know what you're getting with the Bee Gees. The only time that they're not the Bee Gees, with the Stylistics. And by the time you get to, like, because they had a bunch of hits, right? But by the time you get to the early 80s, the only thing that really changed up with them was their sound, in that, because they didn't perform their own music, they just kind of followed the music trends of the day. So they've got a song called Searchin' from 1982, which I like that song. And one of their better later period songs too is Hurry Up This Way Again, right? It doesn't compare to their earlier hits, like You Make Me Feel Brand New, and Betcha By Golly Wow, and because they did a lot of ballads like Stop, Look, Listen to Your Heart, People Make the World Go Round. Like, all those songs are great, right? And they had a very novel sound, but they didn't grow on that sound. And Russell Tompkins sounds exactly the same across all the records, right? They even tried their hand at disco with a song called Fly, and it just wasn't great. Like, they didn't grow as a group at all. You know, so that's how I kind of see the Bee Gees. Like, the Bee Gees had like kind of a signature sound, and then they discovered disco. Like, they started doing all the disco stuff, and they kind of discovered their falsetto like around Jive Talkin' in 1975. And then they hit it big, and then they just kind of tried to ride that wave of hitting it big with Saturday Night Fever for as long as they could. I have also long said that, contrary to popular belief, Stayin' Alive is not a disco song. It's not traditional disco. It's an R&B song, definitely, but I would argue that it is not a disco song. There are too many unconventional things, because disco, toward the end, kind of got pretty conventional, in terms of like the classic disco sound, right? And I would argue that Stayin' Alive is not disco. I understand people not liking death and black metal. It's a vocal performance you got to learn to appreciate. Yep. I think my favorite songs are To Love Somebody and Tragedy. That's fair enough. Have you ever seen the video on YouTube, Jake, of them actually making Tragedy? If not, you should go check it out. It's worth a watch. Also, I hope that's Jake that said that. It was. Okay. All your names are purple, so my apologies if I mix any of you up. Squirrel Jail is up on disco, along with other stuff. Let me know if you need any alterations to it. Oh, nice. I think what got me into them was the Foo Fighters doing a Bee Gees cover album. That's fair. That is fair. Oh, you have seen that video. Nice. Very cool. Oh crap, I was going to say something, but I forget what. Hail Satin. Yeah, because that's what the album's called, right? Yeah. And I think it's the general thing that happens with bands too, especially if they start having hits, right? Not to say that that it happens with every band or every artist, because there are plenty of artists like Stevie Wonder, like Kendrick, who continually like experiment with their sound, right? But even great bands like Earth, Wind and Fire. Earth, Wind and Fire had a good like 7-year run where everything they released was like gold, right? Just beautiful. And then right around like 1981, like 1980, 1981, their formula had kind of run dry, and they started like running out of ideas. Like especially like in 1983, because they released an album called Powerlight, and Powerlight was good. Powerlight is good, but it's not nearly as good as like their 70s records. But it's still good. There's some bangers on there, like Fall in Love with Me is a great song. Side by Side's a great song. Spread Your Love's a great song. Unfortunately, those 3 songs kind of like kick off the album, and then the rest of it's just kind of like, oh, it's fine, right? And then they released another album in 1983, later on in 1983, called Electric Universe. And that album just, they had run out of ideas. They had run out of new things to try. It's not good, you know. I believe I have heard that one, right? I believe I have. You know. Okay. But yeah, it happens to the best of them, so. 15 work days in a row with, oof. Some being 10-hour days crushes, I would say so, yes. Go get some good sleep there, Jake. Yeah, I hope that stops for you soon. And you actually get some weekends and some rest. Yeah, have a good sleep. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you. I get most of this weekend. Well, that's good at least. I'm glad to hear that. But yes, have a fantastic night, Jake. Thanks for popping in. Always good to see you. So I know I mentioned it earlier that there probably, in all likelihood, not be any streams this weekend because my girlfriend and I will be visiting my family. But y'all have any plans for the weekend? Got anything cooking up? finally feel like we're making progress with this floor. After a whole lot of nothing earlier. Work and then just crashing until Monday. That is fair enough. That's fair enough. You got to do what you got to do to recuperate and recharge yourself for the next week to come. I know I did a lot of that when I was working at my warehouse job. A lot of my weekends were used for, when I wasn't hanging out with my girlfriend, a lot of my weekends were used for recouping. I remember a big part of that job was, you only had so many sick days. So because of that, I remember one time I strained, I pulled one of the muscles in my left forearm. And basically that job, all I did all day was like pack boxes and lift boxes, right? That was my job, packing and lifting boxes. And I couldn't take any time off for my arm to heal, because I didn't have any sick days left. Because unfortunately, I had to use a lot of my sick days to go visit sick family members and go to funerals. Because in like 2017 and actually more like 2018, 2019, actually more 2019. 2019, like I had a lot of family members die, and a lot of like my dad. My dad ended up having a heart attack, and no one knew he had a heart attack. Like he had a couple of them actually. It landed him in the hospital, but I remember I drove down because my older brother told me that he was in the hospital, and I drove down with my girlfriend to see my dad. And I remember walking into, because he was still in triage, like he was still in the ER basically. And I walked back there to visit him, and he looked like he just had like he didn't look bad. Like he looked like he was just like maybe just a little bit under the weather. And then when he spoke, like you could tell like he was feeling weak, but he looked like he was just like a little bit sick. Like I thought that maybe he had just gotten the flu or something, right? And then the doctor comes in and he's like, you had like a couple of like heart attacks, and you also have pneumonia. And we were all like taken aback, like, excuse me? And then I remember, and this is just miraculous to me, that, my dad, the worst that he got was like, he had to stay in the hospital for a couple of weeks. But, a couple of weeks after that, like, he wasn't feeling like back to normal yet, right? Like, he still felt like his lungs didn't have the same capacity. Like, he just felt like kind of slow and sluggish, and like just things weren't clearing up the way he thought they would. I say weeks, is a couple of months after that, right? And his specialist showed him a picture of his lung x-ray, and they did one of those 3D, actually I don't know if it was a 3D lung x-ray, but it was, you can see the lungs, right? And she was like, I want you to take a look at this. So put up my dad's x-ray, and basically, I forget whether it was one lung or both, but basically like the lung was like white, right? And when you have pneumonia and your lungs are like 75% white, I mean, that's a lot of infection, right? Like that's bad news bears. And the doctor the specialist basically told him like, Tim, I have seen people who are in their 30s and are like marathon runners that have lungs that look like this, and I see this post-autopsy, right? Like they don't walk out of here when their lungs are this bad, right? So you are extremely extremely lucky that, because this can be fatal. Like, this is readily fatal, and you walked out of the hospital. So your body is still processing that trauma that it went through. So you're not going to feel regular for like a while. Like, you were sick. And the thing about my dad, and the thing that kind of scares me, because I have a lot of the same makeup, in terms of like how I deal with like pain or whatever in sickness. It's not so much that I am feeling really, really bad and refuse to go to the hospital. Like, my dad's more like that. He's just stubborn because he doesn't like hospitals, especially given, what happened to my mom, because we had to be in the hospital for a long time. But he didn't feel that sick, right? There are times where, like, I've been that bad too. Like, I've been in the middle of an asthma attack and not realized that it was an asthma attack, right? Because I felt like okay, just like my chest is a little tight, right? And it's like, no, you're having an asthma attack, right? So, it's one of those things that you really, really like ruminate on after the fact, where it's like, oh, that could have gone a lot worse. The point of that story was, I spent a lot of that year using a lot of my sick days to go make sure my dad was okay and to go to other funerals. So I had no sick days left. So basically my arm was like, well, I guess it's just not getting better because I can't take the time off of work. Spoiler alert, my arm did get better. It just took longer. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Kevin Smith heart attack story. Yes. I've heard his recounting of that. Yeah, it's scary stuff. Scary stuff. But yeah, needless to say, I'm glad that I don't work in that at that warehouse job anymore. And I'm very lucky and very blessed that I'm in a job now that actually does have like a good amount of sick days. Still not enough, I don't think, but at least it has more than my previous job did. And I'm also thankful that I don't actually get sick all that often. I'm more liable to get hurt than sick, which I'm also very appreciative of, because that's not a lot of people. So I don't take that for granted. Oh, that's a little bit too light. Maybe darken that up a little bit. There we go. My mom lost her job due to your grandmother getting sicker and sicker, to the point that she had to stop living here and move to her house, which is like 40 minutes away. My parents always played down however sick I thought I was, so now I'm like, I'll live. Literally almost died a few times, and now I have brain damage, but I still do that. Well, I mean, it's hard to get out of that mindset, They had to put her on dialysis. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I think it can stand to be a little bit lighter down here still. I hope this isn't too personal question, Rain, but like, has your grandmother improved at all since your mother like moved moved in with her, and just in terms of like, because I know like like one of my cousins was on dialysis for the longest time, until she thankfully was able to get a transplant, but um, I'm gonna have to check that out. I don't know that she'll ever get a transplant because she's in her 70s. Ah, yeah, that's unfortunate. But for a while there, she wasn't eating. She was very sad all the time, super depressed. We all thought she was at death's door. Oh, hello, Angel. Welcome in. How are you? How are you? I'm hoping that she's improved since then, Ray. Oh. She's more talkative now. Her mood's improved. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's very good to hear. How you doing, Angel? Hope you're having a good day. Okay, so there's a hard cut here as well. All right. It's been an out of touch Thursday. Ah, I've had days like that. Well, I'll try my best to make it a little bit more in touch while you're here. It's just one of those days, yeah. Yeah, no, I hear that. I hear that for sure. Okay. This is starting to come together. I'm currently justifying my salary, the last hour of work I have left since I did almost no work today. I didn't really do any work today either. I wasn't doing much work today either. I put up a new pretty shower curtain for a change. It made me feel better. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Cool. Is there anything, like, what's the curtain look like? Is it like one solid color? Does it have a pattern? We're just boring plain Janes. We just have a white shower curtain ourselves. But I'm glad that that made you feel better. Stuff like that can definitely make one feel better. It's soft pink with large spread out rose pattern. The roses have a light rose gold glitter on them. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Yeah, that's a lot fancier than ours. No, that's awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. But yeah, no, I feel that, Rain. I didn't do a whole lot of work today either. I was yeah, it was a very kind of low key, well, not even low key. Like, I didn't have a lot of work to do to begin with, and then I found out that so the former Air Canada Centre in Toronto is now the Scotiabank Arena, and I found out that they were I didn't think they were, but they were starting pre-sale tickets on Kendrick Lamar's new tour. So I got in the queue for that. And then somehow, against all odds, I managed to actually get a ticket. So, come August, like, my girlfriend and I are actually going to go see Kendrick Lamar, which will be amazing. I've seen him once before, but that time Thank you, Angel. No, when I saw him the time before, I had to go down to Detroit to see him because all of the tickets at the Scotiabank Arena were sold out instantly because of bots. It seems like they've really, really tamped down on the bot situation now because, like, I was actually able to get in. Last time, like, I clicked on the ticket that I wanted, like, back in 2018, and it was like, nope, you can't. I was like, I didn't even press anything because the bots had bought up all the tickets. So that's a pretty Artemis emote. Yeah, I like that. My boss is holding a spot open on his Saturday for a client, but the client hasn't gotten back to us with documents so I can start work on them. So while waiting, I just slept. Currently processing a client from Monday. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. I remember when I was unemployed, like I would, because I'm pretty much a night owl, but when I was unemployed, like I was staying up really, really late. And then when I got this job, there were a couple of times that I was like nodding off like early on in the morning, just because I wasn't used to having to change my sleep schedule, and I hadn't adjusted yet. But yeah, having a snooze doesn't seem too bad. Especially if you're waiting on someone else to do work so that you can get yours done. I don't know. Have I told my other Kendrick Lamar concert story on here yet? If I have, I'll probably tell it anyway because I enjoy it. But, a 2-hour nap though. 2 hours. That sounds like a. I mean, if it depends. I'm not one of those people that tends to feel tired again after a nap. And if I take a 2-hour nap during the day, I can still like fall asleep at night. I know a lot of people can't fall asleep after they have a long nap, so I can get how that can also be bothersome. I forget what stories of mine I tell all the time. Okay, so. I was working at Sport Check, and I managed to get resale tickets for Kendrick Lamar at the Palace at Auburn Hills in Detroit. So I asked my cousin if he wanted to go. Well, one of my cousins, who's a big Kendrick fan, and he was like, yeah, definitely. So the problem was he didn't get his passport in time because we had to cross the border because we're in Canada. He's still in the city I was born in Chatham. I'm up here in Toronto, so I was going to pick him up and we were going to go. But he didn't get his passport in time. So I went down there by myself. Which really sucked because I would have loved to be able to like, share that experience with him. So I get down to the Palace at Auburn Hills and I'm going through like the set list before Kendrick came out, because this was the Damn tour, was this rapper called Dram. And what I loved about Dram is I walked into the arena. He had already started his set because I was running a little late. But he had sampled the music from, it was from Super Mario World. It was the Forest of Illusion. He sampled that theme for whatever he was rapping to, and I was like, I like this dude. I like the cut of his jib. Was this before the e-passport system? It might have been. I know I had a physical passport, and he had tried to fast track his, but it just didn't get to him in time. So it might have been before. I'm not too sure. Speaking of which, I think I have to renew my passport this year. Roommate and I are going to build Lego tonight. Nice. What are you going to build? So I get down there and I get to the so it was him, and then it was Travis Scott before anyone knew what a piece of shit Travis Scott was. With the whole, not doing any sort of crowd control, and then all those people dying at what was it, Astro World tour? I don't know. I think that was him, right? I don't want to sound like a fool. Yeah, that was Travis Scott. Yeah. But at the time, it was just, yeah. Lego, let's go! Hey, Redria, how are you? Got a Fender guitar that looks like my Fender. You've got a Fender bass? I've always wanted to learn how to play the bass. That's awesome. Yeah, that was Travis Scott. So, It was Dram and then Travis Scott before everyone knew what a piece of shit Travis Scott was. And then me too. Fair. And then Kendrick was the headliner. So I get through the entire show. Oh, thank you for the lyric, Angel. I appreciate it. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Appreciate you. Enjoy your lyric. So I get through the entire show, and it's like 12:30 at night, right? And my whole plan was, Detroit is probably an hour and a half from Chatham, right? So I was going to drive home to my childhood home, sleep from 2 till about, 6 or so, right? Get a nice 4 hours of sleep. Then I was going to get up and drive the 3 hours that it would take to get back to my workplace, because I started work at 9:30 or 10, right? I think I started at 10. I have a Dean bass that I stopped touching since 2014. Nice. Oh, you got to get the pipes ready, You got to get it ready. So that was my plan. I was going to drive home, sleep for 4 hours, and then drive 4 hours or 3 hours back to Pickering, and then work, because I was working at Sport Check at the time, and I had to be on the floor that day. So that was my plan. What I didn't plan on was the fact that I forgot to actually download the. Thank you, Ray. Let me get my timer together. I can sing the rest of this story. Timer. Countdown. 5 minutes. And 3, 2, 1, go. So what I didn't count on was me forgetting to download the map for Detroit. Because in case you didn't know, if you have a Canadian phone, you can't actually get on the internet in the States. So I couldn't open up the map. So I had no idea where I was going at 1 o'clock in the morning in Detroit, Michigan. Needless to say, I got lost. To make a long story short, I finally made it back to Chatham at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And so I got maybe an hour and a half of sleep. Then I had to drive 3 hours. I actually stopped at a rest stop to try and see if one of my co-workers could come in for me so that I could go home and sleep. But of course they were all busy. All of them were like, "Nah, sorry man, I can't do it." Which, maybe they couldn't. But anyway, I was very tired for that shift. Then I got back to my cousin's house, because that's where I was staying at the time. And my cousin was like, "Hey, how was the concert?" And I was like, "I will tell you tomorrow. I need to go to sleep." What I didn't plan on was this karaoke redeem. You are exactly right. You're right as rain. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And you were not prepared for that pun. So anyway, that's my... I'm glad you enjoyed that. Also, L, how large is this Lego set that you're gonna be building is a fairly large one. Actually, you might have said, let me check the chat. Ooh. Anyway, Redria, I hope you're doing well. Glad to see you in the chat. I hope you enjoy it. We're just painting the floor. 1,074 pieces. That's a fair amount of pieces. I hope when you finish it that you post it on your Discord. 'Cause I would love to see it myself. I think that would be really cool. It's nowhere near as many as the cars we usually build. Well, that's fair enough. This song reminds me of one of the ones that used to be on the Lore podcast way back in the day. Do. 5 minutes. All right. Well, thank you for that, Rain. You know, I was walking with my girlfriend the other day because it was nice out, and we went for a walk around this neighborhood that we don't usually walk in, but we were over there anyway to pick up a check for her, so we figured, well, we might as well walk around here. And it reminded me how, like, when I was in university and I would go back to Chatham, and even actually when I was still in high school, when I was in high school, I had a lot of friends. And I still do, like, my 3 closest friends are from high school. Jake is one of them. And I remember that sometimes, because, you know, I had a lot of friends, but I was still I felt kind of like socially awkward. Like, I was the kind of kid that was like, I was friendly toward everyone, which is part of the reason I got voted as valedictorian, because it was between me and this other kid. But the other kid didn't talk to any of the uncool kids, whereas I did, because I was like, well, I mean, I'm going to talk to you. I mean, you're a person, and you're kind of cool. So a lot of them voted for me because they didn't know who the other guy was, because he didn't talk to them, because he was one of the cool kids. So, anyway, I had a lot of friends, and I was friendly with a lot of people, but I still wasn't that good at social situations, and I didn't drink in high school at all. So I didn't go to a lot of parties. Like, I went to a couple of them, but I remember sometimes during the summers, like in like grade 12 and like my first year of university when I would go back to Chatham, sometimes during the summer I'd like walk around at night, seeing if there was like anybody who I would recognize from high school that might have been having a party, and I could just, like, you know, walk in and say hello to people. Which, looking back on it, is kind of a little bit pathetic, but, you know, it's alright. It's alright. I turned out okay. For the most part. But it just got me thinking that was the thing that I used to do. Or, you know, like, even, not even so much getting invited to parties, but sometimes I thought, like, if there was a girl that I was crushing on, that hopefully, like, if I walked past the cone and shake shop, like, she'd be there, and, you know, we could, like, talk, and I could, like, kind of, like, maybe ask her out or something like that. But that never happened. But, you know, at the same time, you're kind of thankful that it didn't, because, you know, butterfly effect things. You know, I may not have been able to meet all of you fine people if that's how my life played out. If I had gone to the cone and shake shop and, you know, met up with someone that I was crushing on and, you know, we end up dating. Who knows? I definitely wouldn't have the same life I do now. But it's kind of useless to, like, speculate on whether it'd be better or worse, because you'll never know, right? And if I was in that situation, I would never know what I was missing out on with Twitch, you know? But I only drank in high school when my mom gave it to me. Fair enough. The fact that not drinking in high school is not the norm. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, when I was in high school, like, because you always see those movies where there were tropes of, like, you know, the cool kids and the not cool kids, and, you know, I'm sure there were kids like that at my high school. I mean, undoubtedly there were. But nobody really got on me for not drinking, which all these movies kind of prepared me to, like, really have to fight for, like, no, I don't drink. But the couple of parties that I went to, I said that I don't drink, and there wasn't a whole lot of peer pressure. They were like, oh, okay, cool. You know? The response was more or less, like, more for me. You know, which I appreciated. Yeah, the first time I got, like, I really started drinking was on my 19th birthday, which is when it's legal in Canada. When you turn 19, that's the legal drinking age. I remember I was, like, everyone on my floor was really excited, because we were going to go out, and it was my birthday, and it was near exam time, but mostly everyone, like, went out on the town with me, and they were giving me drinks and everything. I never drank in high school, but also never got invited to parties. But also we never had big parties. Fair enough. We didn't really have big parties either. It was mostly like just, you know, like hanging out at people's houses and, you know. But, you know. But I remember when that first night I was drinking, I accidentally took one of my floor mates' fries. Like, I thought he ordered wings for me. Turns out they were for him, and I apologized profusely, and he was like, no, it's your birthday. And then, like, I gave him money to go buy more fries, but I think he just got a drink. Did I say fries? I meant wings. I think he got a drink, and then just started dancing with a girl. And then on the way home from the bars, I called my parents, and I thought that the call really went well. But it apparently did not go as well as I thought it did, because my parents called me the next day and asked me how I was feeling. And I didn't feel what I know now is hungover. Like, I still felt good, which meant that I probably still had some alcohol in my system. But they called me the next day, and I was like, no, I feel all right. Why? And they were like, well... And again, I thought that I hid the fact that I was drinking really, really well. But apparently, when I called them and they answered the phone, the first thing I said to my parents was, "Happy birthday!" When it was my birthday. So they had a feeling that something was going on. So they just kind of chuckled and were like, well, I hope you feel okay tomorrow as well. And, the next day, I didn't go to any of my classes the next day. I was a shell of myself. I was like, this sucks. So, I did drunk call my parents, yes. Me and my friends used to all go out to Chinese, for Chinese as a group. Hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Me and my friends, because there wasn't a whole lot to do in Chatham, our favorite thing to do was to just, like, walk around and shoot the shit, you know? We would walk all over the city. So there ain't nothing wrong with that. We would go to, like, Cone and Shake Shop and get some ice cream or whatever. And, you know, like, my group of friends, like, with Jake and my buddy Dan and my buddy Christian, like, we didn't go to a lot of parties. Like, we went to a couple, right? But mostly we just like kind of hung out with ourselves, you know. The reason kids get antsy about it is because if you're not drinking, you can narc consequence free. Well, that's true. That's true. But yes, I did drunk call my parents. To be fair, I would always say happy birthday on my own birthday. Oh yeah, I've done that too. Not counting the year that I forgot it was my birthday, which was a couple of years ago. But yeah, no, I do that as well. You know, I hadn't met my girlfriend yet, and I was just kind of by myself, and like a bunch of people. This is when I was living with my cousin, and she had gone to work already, so she didn't say it. And I hadn't been on Facebook, and I didn't have to work that day, so I was just going to get a whole bunch of stuff done, right? And it wasn't until about 2 p.m. that I like finally like looked at my phone and looked at the date, and I was like, oh, it's my birthday. Crap. So I went out and got myself like a cake from Sobeys and like a small little cake, and then I fired up The Shining when I got home, and you know, because I watch The Shining every single year on my birthday. I watch it other days too, but it's my favorite movie, so it's become kind of a tradition for me to have a slice of cake and watch The Shining on my birthday. Because I love that movie. Okay, this down here is looking good. So I think we're gonna leave this alone before I screw it up. Because it's looking pretty good. Oh, one thing I do have to do is I have to make this a little bit darker. Just a little bit, though. The shadows look so crispy. Well, thank you. Thank you. If you could go back in time, what would you tell my younger self? Honestly, to take more chances. Because like I said, like, it was, knock it off, whatever you're about to do, don't. Well, let's see. High school self, I would tell my high school self to take more chances and hang out with your mom more, you know, because in about 10 years, she'll be gone. So, you know, hang out with her more. And yeah, don't be so uptight about stuff. Like, loosen up, you know. Go do some crap, you know. Like, live it up a little. Middle school. So when I was where I live, like we don't actually have middle school. It's grades, like you have your kindergarten, but you have kindergarten, grade 8, and then grade 9 is when high school starts. There's not a middle school. Where my girlfriend lived and grew up here, like just about 15 minutes away from here, there were middle schools. So she went to a middle school. I would tell my middle school self, hey, don't get so discouraged that the one girl that I asked out in grade 8. Don't get so discouraged that you got turned down that you don't ask anyone else out all through high school because you're shy, right? Again, take some chances. Elementary school self, I would tell my elementary school self, hey, you might get a little bit teased from your peers because you know a lot of stuff, like you're very, very smart. Don't dumb yourself down on purpose. Like, if you know the answer, give the answer. Like, don't not raise your hand because you're worried that the other kids might laugh, you know? Like, raise your hand anyway, you know? Because in about 10 years, no one's going to care, right? No one's going to care. And everyone's going to like you again. Like, so, like, that's what I would say. Also, I would tell all three phases, I'm like, don't worry so much about looking or appearing cool, because you're going to realize, like, near the end of university, that everyone, the coolness is kind of, it's a construct, right? You know who think you're cool is your friends. Your friends think you're cool. And as long as you think that you're kind of cool, if you dig yourself, like, that's all you really need, man. Like, that's all you really need. If you're okay with yourself, if you're happy with yourself, then that's good enough. Coolness isn't really a thing that you need to like worry about. Like the people who actually like you and are your friends, like they think you're cool. So that's good enough. You don't gotta like worry so much about appearing cool. Because again, also in like 10 years, like no one's gonna care anymore. No one's gonna remember how cool you were in high school. They're gonna remember how you made them feel, right? That's what they're gonna remember. They're gonna remember that you were cool to them, you know, when you were growing up. And that's really what matters. I would tell myself, you are weird, but there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you. You're equal to your peers, not lesser than. Exactly. Exactly. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I think that that would just make my younger self scoff and give an eye roll, though. Well, that's also fair. Oh, you know what else I would tell younger self? You know what else I would tell my younger self? I would tell my younger self, hey, don't wait until you're like 24 or 25 to really start getting your health in order and start losing weight. Like, start doing that now. Like, start getting active and healthy now. Because you'll do it when you're 24, and you'll be successful, and you'll slide back a bit, and then when you're 32, you'll be trying to, like, get back to where you were, because you haven't fallen off that much, but you've gained a little bit of weight, and you want to, like, get back to where you were. So you'll be starting to work on that again when you're 32. But when you're 24, it's going to be harder than it was when you were 15 to, like, get in shape. So you might as well just do it now. I've tried telling my kid that other people's opinion do not matter, and yeah, I probably get the eye roll. Ah, Angel, you figured it out. I am 32. I am indeed. And if, as long as we're going back in time, like I would go back to my 27, 28-year-old self and be like, hey man, this is in the best shape that you've ever been in your life. Keep it up. Don't fall back a little bit, because if you start falling back now, it'll just kind of like, see, now, I mean, COVID's going to play a role. I would also tell my younger selves about COVID and get prepared for that. But COVID's really going to be what does you in, but don't let it, right? Don't let it. Kids will never get it until they aren't kids. Yeah. they're 15 and they're not happy about their situation. Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self. It's like, yeah, no, like COVID's going to ravage a lot of people, and it's going to close all the gyms, and it's going to make it harder for you to continue with your weight maintenance and weight loss journey. Because basically, like when I was 27, I got down for my 27th birthday. I got down to 179, or not 179. I got down to no, yeah, it was 179. I got down to 179, and I was 270 at my heaviest. I got down to 179, and I was like, okay. And then I crept back up to like 185 and was hanging out there for a bit, and then COVID just kind of, made things go haywire. And now I'm sitting like between 195 or 200, so I gotta get back to where I was. Do whatever it takes to go to art school. You're good enough. Your parents are wrong. You can do it. Is that what you would tell yourself, Rain? Or Rain? Sorry, I did mess up your names because both purple. But is that what you would tell yourself, El? I'm sorry if that was the case with you. If that's what happened. If I was gonna be serial about art or about shit, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sorry that was what you went through. All the things I wish I could tell my younger self, I'm trying to impart to my younger self, my younger part. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it, I think. Pass that knowledge and wisdom along. All the things that you learned. That's what I would be doing too if I had kids. My parents wanted me to go to a real college. It super didn't work out for you. Fair. Fair. I just thought of something else. Sorry, I will say it again. Younger TJ. You're gonna meet a lot of good people at Western. But really try to make the best of your situation with the art school there, because you really should have gone to OCAD or like Ryerson or one of those schools that actually specializes in art. Also, don't go to Western. Like, go to Western because you want to go to Western. Don't go to Western to follow your prom date, because you're not gonna date. That's not gonna happen. I feel like I needed college to land my job, even though I'm not using much of my education in the day to day. I like to tell my past me to drink more water. Yes, drinking more water is very beneficial. What's that song from the animated Alice in Wonderland? It's like, I give myself very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. Yeah. Yeah, drink more water now. Yep. Red Deer drinks so much water, now I've seen them down several bottles of stream. That's good. That's good. Speaking of which, thank you, chat. Younger Rain, that kid at lunch ain't shit. He's gonna tell people you're gay to fuck with you. Plus, later on in life, he's gonna get arrested by the Bureau of Investigation for possession. Well. What a way for that guy's life to turn out. Okay, does that look... I think I have to lighten up the top a little bit. Not the FBI, the GBI. Now he's a registered sex offender. Oh, wow. Yeah, seriously, that guy ain't nothing. I get mocked for having a gallon water jug, but past me had like 7 kidney stones, and I ain't doing that no... Yeah. Yeah, no, yes. I wholeheartedly agree. That is more than a valid reason to drink as much water as you do. Plus, I mean, hydration is just great, you know? Yes, thankfully I haven't had any, but I hear that kidney stones are not any fun at all. We're basically complicated houseplants. Yeah, get water and sunlight. I almost died because someone else got a kidney. Well, you got to tell that story. You almost died because someone else got a kidney stone. Were you like in a car and they were like driving and they got hit with the pain of a kidney stone and like swerved into your lane or something? You've intrigued all of us, right? I used to drive a refrigerated box truck and was training a new guy. Ah. The guy was heavy set, like 300 pounds. I was like, if you can do the work, you're cool with me. Mm-hmm. We head off to New Orleans from Atlanta. Oop. He only drinks Mountain Dew. Well, that's not good. So we get to NOLA, first gas station stop, and he's writhing in pain. Dude gets sent to the hospital. You've got a coworker who only drinks Dr. Pepper. Yeah, again, not good. Not good. Kidney stone. Yeah. I'm glad he went to the hospital and didn't just try to, like, tough it out. I mean, it's pretty hard to tough out a kidney stone from what I hear, but... It's like 5 a.m. I'm tired as shit. I go to my first stop to pick up Blue Crab and sleep. He calls me 2 or so hours later to tell me to get picked up. I had a friend who ate fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and only drank Dr. Pepper. He assumed since he was naturally skinny, he'd be good. That used to be me. I ate all junk and metabolized it through pretty much college. I get almost no sleep. I end up working by myself because he's high on some painkiller. Let's go with Perks because of the song. Is this a doorway? It is. It is a doorway. With a... Well, it'll end up being a tile floor. Right now we're just doing the reflections in it, basically. But yep, this is a tile floor that used to be in one of my old apartments. The one I lived in just before we moved here. So we leave NOLA around 7 p.m. I'm still tired as shit, but want to get home quick. I feel like I can see where this story is going. We get to Bayou La Batra, Atlanta to pick up fish. Alabama to pick up fish. Ah, right. Home of Bubba. I can't stay awake anymore. I told the dude, bro, I can't stay awake anymore. I gotta get some sleep. Before any more words says, he says, I'll drive. I feel okay now. And my sleep-deprived self doesn't think too deep about it and says, yeah, okay. Ah. Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's going to. Yeah, 1 hour into him driving, he tells me I'm falling asleep. Can you drive? And I do. We do this like 4 times. Yeah. I should have just stopped at a rest area and gone to sleep. I feel like I'm covering that up. So the last time he's driving and I hear a whole mess of expletives and I get slammed on the passenger side window, the truck bed seats that we used as a bed. Oh, I had back seats that we could use as a bed. The truck had tipped over and skidded onto the dirt median. Yeah, that, yikes. That is no good. The window I landed on shattered on impact. I landed on my butt but got dragged on the asphalt to the dirt. My right arm and lower back are red from road rash. The dude's getting choked by the seatbelt. Eesh. What happened was he fell asleep, woke up and noticed he was on the right hand shoulder, ready to go into the ditch, and he corrected way too hard to the left. Yeah. Yep. That sounded like a massive, massive overcorrection. Where you just kind of instinctively like jerk the wheel. Yeah. Tall but narrow truck, huge turns like that, and you're going over. Yep. Yep, for sure. So we get out of the truck. He is held in place by the seatbelt. I grab the keys and proceed to get out, but not before undoing the seatbelt. I get out, but he can't. The dude's too heavy. I can't lift himself up. The cops arrive. They get him out by pulling him up through the driver's side window. This cop was jacked. I mean, from the sounds of it, you'd have to be. For sure. Yeah, that tracks. Got a little bit of a brush or a bristle stuck in there. There we go. They turn the truck over, and I go through the rubble to get my belongings. I call my boss, tell them what happened, tell them to come get us. I tell them where the cop's going to drop us off at, some Holiday Inn, I forget. In the wreckage, I find this kitchen knife that was kept in the back. That knife could have found a sheath in me, and I'm staring at it like I almost died. Yeah. So I call my ex, and I say, where's the kiddo? I need to talk to them. They hand the phone to our kiddo, and I hear his voice, and I just break down crying. Naturally. I mean, that's a harrowing experience. No question. And that's the story of how I almost died due to somebody else's kidney stone. Well, I'm glad y'all made it out of there all right. Yeah, and I hope that guy started drinking more than just Mountain Dew. Oh, no. That was not supposed to be there. And of course, I'm not going to get it off just by wiping it like that. Of course. So we'll just blend it instead. Who knows? I didn't keep up with him. Fair enough. After that, I heard he wanted to sue my boss, and that he couldn't get any more trucks due to the he couldn't get into any more trucks due to the trauma, but he kept riding motorbikes. Motorcycles are one of those things where I thought I really wanted to try one when I was a kid, and then I became an adult, and I was like, nah. I wanted to try one because like my maternal grandfather had a motorcycle, and he would like travel all over the place on it. He had a bunch of buddies that he would ride with. There we go. That looks pretty good. Not bad. Not bad. Yo, Grey Cat. Welcome in. Here with a lurk. It's late, so I can't stay. Hey, no problem, no problem. Thank you for coming in and lurking. I do appreciate it. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Thank you for the alert, Grey Cat. I hope the rest of your stream went well. And, yeah, no, thanks for dropping in. Really do appreciate it. Even if you can't stay in chat, that is perfectly alright. You know, you go get some rest. Take care of yourself. Okay, that looks good, actually. This, whole reflection over here, I'll bring you with me. So now we've got a nice, I might lighten this up a little bit actually, but other than that, this is looking decent. It's looking pretty decent. Yeah. I'm pleased. I'm pleased with how that's turning out. That story got away from me. It always does. It's one of those stories that I always tell. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. That is perfectly fine. I like hearing stories. And I like hearing people that are passionate about the stories that they're telling. You know? So, that's perfectly fine by me. Thank you, El. Yeah. No, I like this shading. I'm going to have to darken or lighten this up. Actually, I'll do that right now before we call it a day. I just want to lighten up this area just a little bit. It's a little bit too dark for my tastes. But yeah, this is that floor shading that I learned how to do by accident when I was doing that piece I was talking about with that art chat, the piece Trespass, which was my old workplace with that locker room light that never turned off. That's where I learned that technique. Because really all it is a simple little shift of color. Like if you break this down, because again, when we're looking at something, especially if we're working off a reference image or real life type of thing right in front of you, we try to break it down intellectually. We try to outsmart ourselves and be like, oh, that is a reflection of this wall, right? Instead of breaking it down what it is actually visually, which is, it's a subtle shift in color, right? This color here is just a little bit different than this one. And of course there's like shading and everything that goes on with it. But really all this is that this is a slightly darker color than this one. So if you put in that color shift, it makes your job 10 times easier because you're not worried about getting the reflection right. You just want to make sure that you get that color shift determined. And then once you do that, it makes every other step that much easier, you know. Because really at the end of the day, that's all it is. That's all this is, just colors and shapes. It's just colors and shapes. Which, I mean, sounds really simplistic, but with some practice, you'll find that that's all it is just color and shape. It's just little shifts in tone. And that's all there is to it. I mean, obviously there's more to it than that, but you get what I'm saying. I think all the artists in chat, and even the non-artists in chat, if you're creative in some sort of way, you know exactly what I mean. Where you tend to like outthink yourself in trying to get something perfect. I used to say that I'm not one for cliches, but I use cliches a lot. At least the ones that I find to be true. And one of them that I've always found to be true is, perfect is the enemy of good. And a lot of times you worry so much about getting something to look perfect that you kind of lose sight of what it is that you're actually doing, you know? I just dipped my thumb in a bunch of paint by accident. So let me dip my finger in some of this water, dip my thumb in some of this water and wipe this off. Man, oh man. Exactly, draw what you see, not what you think you see. Yep. Drawing is different skill than painting. They are related, but seeing shape and light is different when you're drawing as to when you're painting. Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Sign my work that way. Just, All right, y'all. I think that's going to do it for today. We actually made good progress today. It's amazing what actually having 2 hours to paint does. All right. So, with that, got to get my thank yous out. Thank you all for the stream. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you, Rain, for the karaoke session. And Elle, thank you again for the raid. I really do appreciate it. At the behest of somebody's roommate, I'm changing my follower and subscriber graphics. Oh, fair. Well, thank you, Elle. I appreciate that. I appreciate the vote of confidence. Okay, let's see who is doing what. We've got a couple of artists on. Let's see what they're all doing. What is Larissa up to? Ooh, interesting. This is kind of creepy looking. I like that. Okay, we're gonna go raid Larissa Dara Art because they're working on a digital piece that looks very, very interesting. Yes, yes. But yes, thank you all again for coming out. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint for a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I certainly enjoyed the conversation. I always do. Really do appreciate all y'all coming out. And yeah, the next time you see me will probably be next Monday, in which we will be working on this piece again. Again, I can almost guarantee there won't be a stream this weekend. If there is, I will announce it on Twitter. But barring a change in circumstances, like I've got a free 2 hours within visiting my family that we can do something. We'll see you all next Monday. We'll be working on this piece once more. So until then, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Wonderful Friday first, and then a wonderful weekend. Definitely will. I will say hi to my dad. I will say hi to my dad. And yeah, we will I'm mixing up my words. We will see you all next time. All right. Take it easy, everybody. And be well. And what is it that Cass said? May the light illuminate your path. There you go. All right. Bye, everybody.